The average American carries $21,603 in non-mortgage debt right now. That's credit cards, car loans, personal loans, student loans, everything that isn't the house. And the average American has no clear plan to pay it off. According to a 2025 survey, 23% of credit card holders have no repayment plan at all. Not a bad plan. No plan. Today, we're going to fix that. Specifically, we're going to build the framework for paying off debt fast on a regular salary, where fast means years off your timeline, not decades of minimum payments. Before we get into the tactics, here's the thing this video is actually answering. Two people with the exact same debt load and the exact same income can have payoff timelines that are 5 or 6 years apart just based on the order they tackle their debts. The sequence is the variable almost nobody optimizes. I'll show you the right order before this video ends. Step 1. Build your debt inventory. Before you can pay off debt fast, you need to know exactly what you're dealing with. Not a rough estimate. Every account. Here's what goes in the inventory. Creditor name. Current balance. Interest rate the APR, not the monthly rate. Minimum payment. Nothing else. 4 columns. 1 row per debt. Takes about 20 minutes to pull from your statements or credit card apps. That table tells you 3 things immediately. First, your total debt load. Second, your total minimum payment obligation, the number that comes out every month no matter what. Third, which debts are costing you the most in interest. On the example above, those 4 debts cost a combined $479 a month in minimum payments. That's $479 every month that doesn't move the needle much because most of it is going to interest. Step 2. Find your real extra payment. The engine of fast debt payoff is the extra payment, anything above the minimums that goes directly to principal. To find it, you need the same number we've talked about throughout this channel. Your real monthly margin. Take-home pay minus fixed costs minus all minimum debt payments. What's left is your extra payment capacity. For a middle-class earner at $65,000 gross with median fixed costs, that number is often $100 to $400 a month, depending on housing, transportation, and existing debt load. Maybe more. Maybe less. Here's the reality check. If your margin after fixed costs and minimums is under $100, you have a margin problem before you have a payoff problem. The debt payoff framework still applies, but you may need to address income or a major fixed cost first before the math works in your favor. Assuming you have something to work with, even $150, here's where it goes. Step 3. The sequencing decision. This is the step that determines whether you pay off that $21,000 in 3 years or 8 years on the same income. There are 2 established methods. Both are real. Both work. The difference is where you point your extra payment every month. Method 1. The Avalanche. You make minimum payments on every debt. Your entire extra payment goes to the debt with the highest interest rate. When that one is gone, the extra payment rolls to the next highest rate debt. In the example table, your first target is the credit card at 22% APR. You pay $84 minimum plus your full extra payment every month until it's cleared. Then the full amount you were paying there, minimum plus extra, rolls to the next debt. The Avalanche saves the most money in total interest over time. On a $21,000 non-mortgage debt load at mixed rates, the Avalanche typically saves $1,500 to $3,000 in interest compared to minimum payments only. Method 2. The Snowball. You make minimum payments on every debt. Your entire extra payment goes to the smallest balance first. When that one is gone, the full payment amount rolls to the next smallest. In the example table, your first target is credit card 2 with $1,100. You clear it faster. That $30 minimum payment is now freed up and added to your extra payment stack. The Snowball costs slightly more in total interest. But here's what most Avalanche-only advice skips. For a middle-class earner with limited margin, the Snowball frees up real monthly cash flow faster. When you eliminate that $1,100 debt, you free $30 a month permanently. That's real margin that makes the next payment more powerful. On a $200 total extra payment budget, freeing $30 is a 15% increase in your firepower. Quick question. Look at your debt table if you have one, or think through your debts. What's your smallest balance right now? Just drop the number in the comments. I want to see what people's starting points look like. I want to stop here and be direct about something. I've just described two methods, and they sound like opposites. The math says Avalanche. The cash flow argument says Snowball sometimes. So which one do you actually use? Here's the honest answer. For most middle-class earners on a tight budget, a hybrid wins. The rule: if your smallest debt can be eliminated in under 90 days at your current extra payment rate, clear it first. Free the monthly payment. Then pivot to the highest interest debt with the full stacked payment. If your smallest debt would take more than 90 days to clear, go straight to the highest interest debt. The interest savings matter more than the cash flow liberation at that timeline. This isn't complicated. It's a single decision based on one calculation: how long does it take to eliminate my smallest debt? Under 90 days, start there. Over 90 days, start with the highest rate. The sequence I just described is the 3-year path versus the 9-year path I showed you at the start. Not because the tactics are magic, but because the sequencing and the role of freed payments compounds month over month in a way that minimum-only payments never do. Now let's talk about the two accelerators that can cut your timeline further. Accelerator 1. The lump sum drop. Every time you get money that wasn't in your monthly budget tax refund, work bonus, selling items, any one-time income, that money goes directly to your targeted debt before it touches your checking account. The average federal tax refund in 2024 was approximately $3,100. Applied directly to the $4,200 credit card in the example table, that takes the balance from $4,200 to $1. $100 in one move. That's months of normal payments compressed into a single action. This is the highest leverage single move available to a middle-class earner. Not because the money is magical, because a lump sum applied to principal immediately reduces the interest accruing on the remaining balance every single month going forward. Accelerator 2. The income wedge. Any increase in income that doesn't exist yet a side hustle, overtime, a second part-time source is most powerful in the early months of a debt payoff plan before lifestyle has a chance to absorb it. A consistent $300 a month in extra income applied entirely to debt, not to the budget, not to savings, directly to the targeted debt can cut a 3-year payoff plan to under 18 months depending on the debt load. This doesn't require a business or a second career. It requires identifying one repeatable income source and treating every dollar from it as off-limits to spending. I want to be honest about the one thing I can't tell you. The research on which method Avalanche, Snowball, or hybrid leads to higher real-world debt payoff completion rates is genuinely mixed. Some studies show the Snowball leads to higher completion because quicker early wins maintain commitment. Other studies show the Avalanche results in faster payoff for people who stick with it. I've read both sides, and I can't give you a clean answer because the data depends heavily on the individual debt profile, income level, and consistency of the payer. What the data agrees on, any systematic method beats no method by a significant margin. People with a written payoff plan eliminate debt meaningfully faster than people who pay minimums plus whatever extra they happen to have. The specific method matters less than the consistency of execution. Here's the number I held until now. On the example debt table, $21,000 in non-mortgage debt, $200 in monthly extra payment. Hybrid method, the payoff timeline is approximately 4 years and 2 months, with a single $3,100 tax refund applied as a lump sum in month 3, 3 years and 1 month. With that same tax refund plus a consistent $300 per month income wedge, under 18 months. Same debt, same base salary. 3 different timelines based entirely on the sequence, 1 lump sum and 1 income source. The 2 people with the same salary and the same debt load who end up 5 years apart on their payoff timeline, the difference is the inventory, the sequence, and 1 or 2 deliberate moves that compress the timeline. None of this requires a higher income to start. It requires knowing exactly what you owe, pointing your extra payment at the right target, and treating one-time money as debt fuel instead of spending money. Your one action before this week ends: build the inventory table. 4 columns, 1 row per debt, 20 minutes. Once you know the numbers, the sequence decision takes 5 minutes. You can't build the plan without the table. Drop your total non-mortgage debt in the comments or just your smallest balance if you're not comfortable with the full number. I want to see what people are actually working through. If this is your kind of channel, subscribe. See you in the next video.